All right, seventh graders, it's Friday, March 20th, and this is the video lesson for today. Today, you're just going to have one assignment. It's on a Google Doc, and for the first 10 problems, you're going to be solving for X, and it'll be multiple choice. So you'll see a problem, and then there'll be 4 options or 5 options, and you'll either highlight or underline the ones that you think make the statement true. And then at the very end, you have 2 word problems, which we'll go over how to do the word problem. Anyway, so the problems will be like this. It'll be all inequalities. So as you remember, this sign is greater than. Greater than means it has to be greater than that number. It cannot be equal to that number. So examples for X is, so if I decided to put 3 is greater than 3, that would not be correct because 3 is equal to 3, and only if we had this one could we put 3 in as the correct answer. So in this one, basically it's any number bigger than 3. So you could do 3.1, you could do 4, you could do 5, and up. All right, anything 3 or less would not make this true, okay? But anything greater than 3 would make this statement true. Number 2, so this one says 2x. 2x means 2 times some number is greater than or equal to 6. So if I put a 3 in there, that would mean 2 times 3 is 6. And since this is a greater than or equal to sign, that would be something that you would underline or highlight. That's true. 2 times 3 does give you 6, so that's a good option. If it was -3, right, 2 times -3 would be -6. So that would not be good because -6 is not equal to or greater than +6. Other numbers that would work would be anything greater than 3, right? 4, 5, and anything greater than that. All the negative numbers would not work because any negative number times this is going to negative times a positive is going to give you a negative, and we want it to be bigger than +6. So none of your negative numbers would work. But any number that is 3 or greater would work for that problem. Again, this is greater than or equal to. Problem 3, x plus 5 is less than -1. So an example of numbers that would work. So if I said 0 plus 5, that is not less than -1. If you remember correctly, on a number line, right, we got 0, 1, 2, 3, -1, -2. So -1, so if I put 0 plus 5, that would be 5. That is not less than -1, right? 5 is over here. If I put -5 over here, right? -5 plus 5 would give me a 0. 0, as we can see, is not less than -1. 0 is bigger than -1. So what you're looking for is any number that makes it -2 or less, okay? So that means you have to put a negative number in for x. So none of the anything 0 and up is not going to work. If I put -6 in, -6 plus 5 gives me -1, right? But that number does not work either because this is a less than sign, not a less than or equal to. So -6 does not work because -6 plus 5 equals -1, and we're looking for just less than. So the numbers you would be looking for are -7, -8, and all the numbers lower than that. Okay, so on the number line, you'd be looking all the way over here at -7 and all the numbers past the number line. Okay, this one, this is a less than or equal to sign, and it says -x minus 5. Okay, so that means whatever number we put in here, you're going to turn into a negative, and if we put a negative number into there, it turns it into a positive. That -x sign means it reverses whatever sign you put in there. So if we decided to say x equals 5, for instance, 5 means -5. And -5 minus 5 gives us -10. So this is a good number. That's a good one. If we decided to try -5, right? -5 into -x gives you +5. And 5 minus 5 is 0. So that number also works. And it works because +5 minus 5 is 0. And since this is a less than or equal to sign, anything that equals 0 is good because you got that little line underneath the less than sign. So any number that's -5 or less is going to work. Is not going to work. So if I decided to put -6, x equals -6 in here, -6 means it turns to +6, and 6 minus 5 is +1. That is not less than. However, if we start at any number greater than 5, so if we decided to go, so this is no good. If we decided to do 6, x equals 6 turns it into -6, and -6 minus 5 is -11. That works also. So when you're doing these first 10 questions on the Google Doc, just be careful to test each one before you decide to highlight or underline the correct answer. Plug it into X, make sure that it works out, make sure you're looking at the less than or less than equal to sign, greater than equal to sign. Make sure you're careful about your negatives and positives. And don't forget, if there's a negative sign next to the X, whatever number you plug in, it reverses the sign. So +5 becomes -5, -5 becomes +5. All right. A quick question about the word problem. So there's 2 word problems in there, and they're both very similar. One says that a man is 190 pounds and his goal is to weigh at least 175 pounds in 2 weeks. So I'm asking, how much weight will he need to lose? That's an easy problem. He starts at 190. He wants to get to 175. So you can figure out how much weight he has to lose. But when you're writing an equation, what you have to do now, I'm not going to give you the answer, but let's say he's 200 pounds, right? He's 200 pounds, right? And his goal is he wants to get to 190 pounds, okay? That's his goal. That means in 2 weeks, he wants to lose, right, 10 pounds. Okay, so if he starts at 200, wants to get to 190 in 2 weeks, he's got to lose 10 pounds. So that means our equation is going to be 200 minus x, right? And now remember, his goal is he wants to get to 190 or less. If he loses more than 100, if he ends up less than 190 pounds, that's okay too, because he still would have reached his goal. So because he says he wants to lose at least 190 pounds or less, that means he wants to end up, this number has to end up less than or equal to 190 pounds. So this would be your equation for the word problem, and the answer to it is x has to be 10, right? So in this particular instance, x equals 10. If we plug 10 into there, we get 200 minus 10 equals 190. That's okay because it's a less than or equal to sign. The other word problem is going to be one where it's a greater than problem. I think it's Sally has lollipops. She has 20 lollipops. Her class is 35 students. So how many more bags of lollipops does she have to get? You have to write an equation for that. All right, so good luck with that. Have a great weekend, and we will see you guys on Monday.